There is a mathematical correlation, Thomas, to how fire burns. I call them fire maps. The first circle of fire. So here's an example, okay? And the numbers don't lie. As 1 and 3 relate to each other, fire and ice. Two magnets become one. And how this relates to 6. And the difference between 6 and 9-ball double diamonds. Okay? So here's an example of an experience that I had, because we learn through experience what we're recording, what our inner cells are recording. The Unisi, the first camera eye recorder, the first library builders, the organization of temples, the organization of cellular transcription, absorption rate, burn time, fire time, when you're running pure fire to burn off goo codes that are not compatible with the first sun. The first sun code, the first tones of life, of eternal life. So in 1970, in Southern California, I was sitting on the back of a fire engine with the California Department of Forestry, and we were headed up to a place called Big Bear Mountain in the San Bernardino National Forest. And we came around the corner on the 57 freeway to hit the 91 going eastbound, like towards San Bernardino out of Orange County. You should have seen that plume. You should have seen that plume, Thomas. This is what we call, man, this thing is cooking. Remember the old saying, if you can't handle the heat, get out of the kitchen. So you realize, man, this thing is moving. Because then we realized, when did this thing start? Started around 1 o'clock in the morning is what they said, in the middle of the night. And you mean tell me this thing's already putting up a smoke, a mushroom cloud that big already? Well, all you had to do was look around. The visual mathematical landscape is telling you the mathematics of what's going on. Because trash cans were blowing all over the place. Because there were 90-mile-an-hour winds that were coming down through the pass between the high desert and the low valleys. You know, funnel winds, what they call phone winds, like in phone numbers. Dial it up. So anyway, when we got up there, okay, it was reported that this fire was moving at roughly 3,000 acres an hour. 60-minute cycles? 60 hertz ring a bell? What is 3 times 6? 18, and that's 9. Oh no, this is a 6, not a 9. You see how that works with a fire map, which is a holographic map, which is a visual mathematical map, Thomas? So we decided, as a collective group of consciousness, that we were going to set a backfire to try and protect the foothill communities of the city of San Bernardino, all the houses, all the people that are down there, right? And that backfired. You know, when you're trying to use fire against fire, fire can burn you. It's also your best friend, right? Children learn that if they decide to put their finger on a stove. I don't want to do that again. That's called a reflection of how fast we're learning. From the first spirit of fire. The purity of our spirit is our shield. The first shield volcano. The spin, the torque speed ratios, the mathematical ratios, the variable settings to equalize all the waves to experience 0. No disturbance, no distortions. We're experiencing the eternal breath of Kamalawati. So our assignment when we got down the hill, because now we got to go chase it, got away. The spirit in that fire just got away. Right? So you know what is the most effective fire suppression agent, like an Agent Smith, like the Law of Nations with Mr. Smith, Adam Smith. Remember Virginia? I know. It's all coded. It's all there. The map is all there. They do inform us of who they are. That's why I knew as a child. You are who you are. You speak for yourself. I speak for my cells. My cells do not experience what you experience because I'm not trying to hurt my own cells, which means I'm not trying to hurt my own creator, born out of the first star, a free spirit. So we know that love is what frees us. So we know absolute zero, which is absolute love, is what frees our spirit, because that's our shield. That's our armor. That's our heart. That's the heart and soul of the first Unisci, the first Sun Temple. So I serve the first Sun Temple forever and always on duty. So yeah, Thomas, when we got down, I'll tell you this little story if you didn't hear about it before, but this is how it works. This is how a fire map works, a holographic fire map. Fire and ice maps, echo maps. So we chased it and we got down to I believe it was San Bernardino City College, where they had a big auditorium, where they had paper sleeping bags in there. You know, they were providing supply, logistics, you know, the things that you need, because you're a battery operated slave for the corporation, right? Because that's who they are, right? Wearing uniforms and badges and logos and all that stuff. And even though we're performing a job on behalf of the community, right? Because what we're actually protecting are their investments. Okay? All you got to do is pull up the birth certificate serial number and realize, hey, you got a solar code bond. So they use your ATP Krebs cycle as a means to which to power all their alien machinery. That's why we're here. Right? So you know why a Nomi Noble planet? You're going to heal faster in one that is noble than one that is not. That's knowing one from the other. That's what Nomi means. Know me. Know the first sun. Know the first spirit. Know the first rays of light. Kamalawati. So when we were there in the staging area, we were told, go up to the top of this ridge on a cul-de-sac, much like the Bel Air fire, I guess it was in 1960, where they're surrounded by 3-foot, 5-foot high sagebrush, very grassy, what we call flashy fuels, which means poof, it's gone. Right? So fire, because of the molecular relationship that water has with thermal gradients, right, which is 300 to 1, 1 to 300, 1 unit will cool 300. The cooling factor between hot and cold pressure. And so we were told to go up to the top of this cul-de-sac. When we got up there, everybody was gone. They were all vacant houses. They were people that lived there, but they're gone. So we were going to make a stand. So I went up on top of a roof. I was told to go up on top of the roof with an 1.5-inch line. So all you got to do is use the 1.5 inch. That's a fire hose, right? And I had a nozzle that put out 90 gallons of water per minute. You can do the math on this, Thomas. Okay, because every 100 foot holds 9 gallons of water under pressure, right, with a pump, and it puts out 90 gallons of water for every 60. Wow, and that's called a fog pattern. A sound and light burn pattern, which is known as steam conversion, which is torque conversion. And that will cool the base communication platform of an echo map that is getting away because the map is changing at a higher rate of speed, which means what was once there in the visual display is no longer there. The landscape has changed over time-space vectors. Now you're seeing the destruction of what fire does. Now you can go to a guy who has a site which is Geoengineering Watch, and you can go up there and take a look at a document that he provides, that he located in the PDF format, where in 1970, and not uncoincidentally with those numbers, when I first joined the California Department of Forestry in 1970, just happened to be the year in which that document was being filed in a filing cabinet, in a cellular record, in a planetary, universal, and galactic memory bank. What the military, the Pentagon, the corporate military government, was planning on doing, using the Forest Service as an Agent Smith program, which was to use forest fires as a weapon against humanity. Okay? So imagine that you work for the U.S. Forest Service. Why don't we send memos out, Thomas? Okay? And send them. I realize there's a cost factor involved in this, which is an RH factor involved in this, about how long it would take and how many electrons it would cost somebody to, say, to put together 50 million, right? So you can put them in the mail, send them to every address, every P.O. box in America, and to let them know, hey. And that would include every employee that works for the U.S. Forest Service so they can realize who they really work for. Right? Something that's dead. That's what a corporation is. You can't hold something that's dead accountable because it's dead. So it doesn't have any rights, doesn't have any human rights. Now we're into the right way and the wrong way and the difference between the spirals. I know. That's why we're here. The rescue squad showed up. Emergency 1, the first engine, the first rescue unit, the evac. I know. And so this is what I call full circle. You know, the data doesn't lie. The visual mathematical information doesn't lie about what it is, how it operates, right? Feeding on the ATP Krebs cycle of a living planet to kill off its battery, right? So you see how that works between spirals. You can't crash Sophia. And so there I was on top of that roof with an Elkhart nozzle. Elkhart, Indiana, that's where it was made, that's where it was forged, out of brass. God, that was a heavy nozzle too. I think it weighed about 3 pounds. So that nozzle saved my butt. Number 9 saved my butt. 90 gallons of water per minute was sufficient to do the job. So I grabbed the right nozzle. Because all these little bullets, these hot embers, were coming at me. You know what a fan motor is, right, on a microprocessor? The processing speed, the speed at which these bullets are coming at you. That's what it was like. I know. I caught one in the ear earlier in the day when you have Santa Ana winds that are blowing that strong, right? And that much stuff is going up in smoke. You know, it's you know, there's a big spirit of fire in me, so it's just like when I was on the other side of the island, when I got a chance to get down as close as I could possibly get to raw molten voltage, right? And feel that, right? I pulled enough energy out of that lava. I was running around like a 7-year-old little kid, right? Memory wipes. I had no memory of an injury that I had in my left kneecap from slipping on some ice when I was in Reno. What was that, a couple of years before that, Mama? It's gone. I'm not experiencing that anymore. I know. And so we saved that house. Number 9, save the house. Help save the house the way that fire and water work together. Being one, fire and ice. Have a beautiful day, y'all. You too, Thomas. We love you all. I love your comments. I know, it's cool, huh?